All right, here we go. Carver and Cuthbert here with you. Go Sports Radio from Borrelli's Tap Room in Long Beach. Great to have everybody there with us on the stream. First time going here, first show. Mike Carver here with you along with Paul Cuthbert. Paulie, great to see you again, my man. How are you?
What's going on, man? It's happening. Here we are. Ready to get going.
It is happening. It's been a long time. We were mentioning last week when we threw on for a couple minutes that we did a lot of these back in the day, but now having us back in the mix here, especially at Borrelli's, beautiful. I mean, it's almost like, listen, it's November, but it's feeling good out there today. I'm excited. We got a lot to do today. We're talking some football. We got some hockey. We've got a lot of things on tap for the next 90 minutes, and we get ourselves rolling here.
Yep, absolutely. Looking forward to conversations. And I don't know if we can really overanalyze things as much as they are today in modern sports.
No, you can, though. You see, that's the thing. You can do that. It's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with overanalyzing anything because that's what everybody does now, and that's okay. We can overanalyze a little bit, Paulie. That's good.
So where do you want to start today, pal? A lot going on.
There is a lot going on. First, we should start here. It's great to be at Borrelli's. We mentioned it in the quick little teaser last week. This is where we're going to be every Wednesday and Thursday, noon to 1:30 East. We're going to be hanging out here. Great time. We'll stream on X. We'll stream on YouTube. We're going to get the chat involved too, Paulie. Don't forget about that. We got the chat box in there. People are going to get themselves involved. But there's going to be a good home for us here on Go Sports Radio. And once again, thanks to Borrelli's and everybody for having us here.
Yeah, it's exciting. And I said this at the teaser last week too. Just for the opportunity to get to do this again. And like I said, we were discussing pre-show. It's been a long time since me and you have actually done a show together, so it's great to be reunited, as they say.
Funniest part is Curtis from Third and Long back in the day sent me like a little message. He's kind of like a laughing emoji, like, look, you guys are back doing this again. You guys are back.
We'll give everybody a little bit of the backstory there, Third and Long. We have to at least start there.
Right. So when we were doing, which was just a hockey show, Only Pucks, which was Hockey This Week, this is 15 years ago now, right? 2010, right, Paulie? Right about there? 9, 10, 11. Right in that area.
When I was in my 40s.
Yeah, I was in my 30s. So, back when we were doing that, we would go and take the show on the road. We would do a lot of shows, of course, in-house, in the basement, all that. But we would take the show to various places to watch hockey games. And Third and Long was the home. Yes. That was the place where we would go in Manhattan, of course, right there on Third. Unfortunately, not there anymore, Third and Long. But Curtis was the best there. It kind of was the hockey bar there on the east side of Manhattan.
Big Montreal Canadiens fan.
Big Montreal Canadiens fan. Then we went to the Canada Cabin as well.
Yep.
Remember that place over there? We had some Boston, Vancouver Game 7, right? We did in that place in the Canada Cabin, I believe.
Whole crew from
it was Game 6 or Game 7. It was Boston and Vancouver that year that they played in the Stanley Cup final. We were there. So we did a lot of live shows back in the day. And now we want to try to reignite that a little bit here with the Go Sports Radio from Borrelli's Tap Room in Long Beach. So very excited.
Yeah, and the difference, obviously, like I said, we used to do mostly hockey. We're definitely going to talk hockey here. We Rangers fan here, myself, Islanders fan there to on your side of the table.
And they don't like scoring goals at home.
Yeah, we'll get into that later on.
They do not like scoring goals at home.
But
they pumped after that road trip, and then they come back and they can't. They never beat Carolina. They used to have Carolina's number. Now it's flipped.
I don't know if I'm going to have much to say about the Rangers or nothing to say about them at all. But getting back to what we used to do, like I said, this show now is doing all sports, covering everything as opposed to just doing hockey back on the road.
Right.
But shout out to Curtis and all the crew that used to hang out with us back in the day, and hopefully we get some old friends back out here at Borrelli's. It's great being on location. It is more fun, I think, than being in a studio. And you are all welcome to come out here and hang out with us when time permits for you guys. It is open for lunch here at Borrelli's, 12 o'clock, doors open. Come on in. Great specials, great food. And we'll let you guys know about a whole bunch of other stuff that's going on here.
Yeah, and I think that is going to start to happen. I think once everybody sees that we're down here, we're going to start to get a couple people further in, hanging out with us the whole time, each show. So it's going to be good. And if you want to yell at us, that's not a problem either. I don't have any issues with that. I'm used to that now at this point. People yelling at me and telling me that I'm nuts. So if you want to come down and do that as well, Paulie, that's just perfectly fine.
This is what it's all about, right? Sports opinions, right? There's a lot of people out there that we disagree with. And
yeah. So I think that's a good way to start it then. I think it's a real good way to start it, considering I want to start with football today, Paulie, because it is now turning the corner. We're at the halfway mark, heading into week 10 in the NFL. And one of the locals, of course, the Jets, are having another awful season. But they were very busy yesterday at the NFL trade deadline. And you had Sauce Gardner going to Indianapolis. You had Quinnen Williams going to Dallas. You had the Jets acquiring a lot of assets here. I mean, a 26 first rounder from the Colts, a 27 first rounder from the Colts, A.D. Mitchell, who's a good, I thought a good prospect. And then the Colts buried him. If you remember, Paulie, he was the guy that let go of the ball at the goal line in the Colt Ram game back early in the season. And I think he only had 1 or 2 targets a game after that. So they kind of buried him. The Colts been playing really good football this year. So the Jets get him. Then they get a Cowboy second in this coming up draft, a first in 27, and Mazi Smith, who was a first round pick by them just a couple of years ago. So you think he's got talent there in the middle and defensive line. That's a lot of assets you're acquiring for 2 guys. Now the Jets, like you said, it's been a very long year, but their defense was allegedly going to be their calling card, and now they lost 2 big pieces off of that. I am kind of torn, honestly. If I was a Jet fan, I think you're happy on one end, but the cycle just continues at that point. You want players like that to make your team better, not get rid of them to once again just start the cycle over.
The buzz around Jet fans is they actually seem to be pretty happy with the trades,
right?
How it's going to pan out. It's like anything else in any team. When you make moves, you never know what's really going to happen. But Jet fans do like draft parties. So if anything, it's going to be a hell of a draft party next year, the next couple of years, I should say, over this. Look, as a team, as a franchise, not a lot of success. And I know we're going to get into just New York sports in general, just not being successful, and especially on the gridiron as far as football is concerned. The Giants as well. And the Giants didn't do a damn thing yesterday at all. So I guess they think everything's fine.
Well, yeah, like you said, we'll bring them up in a moment, because I think that's a whole nother situation. You talk about the Jets where they are. I personally, this is, again, I'm a Buffalo Bill fan. I'll put that out on the table for those who know us and those who don't. I don't like the Jets. I don't like the Giants. I don't root for either of them. I don't like the way that so far Aaron Glenn has kind of presented himself as the head coach of the Jets. I think that when you come to New York, if you have a history of winning, if you have a background as a coach of win, I think that you can play the tough guy card. I don't think that you can play it when you've never won a game as a head coach. I don't think that that's the right thing to do. And he's been doing that since his first opening press conference. He did it at the Combine. He's done it as the season started. He's done it the last couple of weeks. Now, talking about the quarterback, keeping a big secret. Who's going to play quarterback this week? They both stink. Like, what's the problem? Like, what are you hiding? So I don't think it's good when you come in and you play the tough guy act like he has done so far. And I don't really know enough for the GM. I mean, these seem on the surface like good deals, but then you have to make sure that you then acquire the right players with those picks you're going to get later on. And this is all about quarterback, Paul. This is what it's all about. And this Muji now, he's got to show that he knows how to acquire a quarterback in the draft, because you're loaded now with all these picks. When you have 5 first rounders over a 2-year span, that should put you in the mix to be able to get one of these guys like the Giants have now gotten with Jackson Dart, hopefully, and with other guys because that, Paulie, is the difference between winning and losing, is having that guy that can play quarterback.
All right. So on that note, and we'll touch on college football, not only today, but going forward. Is there anything as far as the senior class that's coming out, guys that might come out into the draft next year, that the Jets are maybe looking at going, hey, let's go for this guy. Let's stack up the picks and let's see what happens. Is there anybody out there like a Dart or somebody else that's coming out in this class?
I think that people thought going into this year that this was going to be Arch Manning was going to be the guy, but watching Arch this year at Texas, now I'm not, his family obviously has got a lot more NFL history than I do. I mean, he's got plenty to lean on between his uncles, between his grandfather, between everybody else. He got plenty of people he can lean on to decide what he's going to do. If I were him, I would be staying in college football for another year. That's just me. Now, he could come out, Paulie, and even with his not great of a year that he's had, and he probably still would be the number 1 overall pick in the draft. He probably still, because he's Arch Manning, he's got the name, and he's got the build, and he's got all those things. But here's the one
guarantee anyway. You saw that with Shador last year.
It's not a guarantee. Little different situation. But I think, and here's the other thing to remember. Unlike back in the day when Eli and all these other guys came out, now Arch can stay another year in college football and he can make $10 million this year.
It's crazy.
So that's not something that was there. Now maybe Eli and Peyton did make a couple bucks when they were playing quarterback in college football, but nobody knew about it. But now you make $10 million as the quarterback, like Arch Manning does. So if I was Arch, I'd be hanging around another year and playing some more college football before going to the NFL. He's got the time to do that. Are there other guys in this draft? There's going to be, this Fernando Mendoza from Indiana. Everybody's talking him up. He's the flavor of the month right now. There's lots of guys that people think could be that next. I don't know, Paul. I don't think that there's no doubt about it. So I got to give up everything this year.
Yeah,
I don't think that guy's there this year. Now, will they if they have the first overall pick, are they going to take a quarterback?
I mean, they got lots of problems everywhere.
They're going to. They got lots of problems everywhere, including coach. I think that's one of their problems.
Glenn is just bizarre. We thought Herman was bizarre years ago. I think Glenn's taken
he's
taken it up a few notches. But the Jets as a franchise and as a fan base, and I don't know how they do it every year. I
don't know how they do it.
More power to them, I guess.
I have no idea how they do it.
But you could talk about the Jets, you could talk about the Browns, you can go up and down the NFL, right? As far as franchises and the mediocrity and the lack of winning.
Right.
And every year though, the stadiums are pretty much filled.
Yeah.
I don't know how all that works. But it's but then again, you talk about the NFL. You just look at the ratings of the Bills and the Chiefs the other night as far as interest and the money that the NFL generates.
It's massive.
The interest. So, maybe the Giants and the Jets here kind of suck, along with quite a few other NFL teams. But this league just continues to thrive. And swinging back to the Jets here, the madness of it for me, just listening on the side. And like I said, I'm a Giants fan, and there's enough problems there as well. But the to be excited now, losing, but now being excited about and then it's a rebuild. So that's the other thing too. Do the Jet fans? Does it matter now? Going from Aaron Rodgers and all that crazy stuff that happened last season or two, and now you're going to start fresh again. And in New York, they say that rebuilding a team is just really not something that fans are digging around.
No,
here.
but when you've been losing as long as these two teams have, particularly the Jets, so obviously have the longest playoff drought in the NFL now. You've got we're talking about not even being in a Super Bowl in 55 years, 59 years, whatever it is.
Parcells and Testaverde got
57. It's really they did get him close, but even that,
Sanchez too.
But Paulie, Sanchez and Rex, of course, were a game away. Parcells and Vinny was a game away when they went out to Denver. But even that, at this point, Paulie's 27 years ago. This is not recent history here that we're talking about. So it just sometimes takes that. You look at some of the teams that have been kind of dormant franchises for a long time, and you look at how the Lions did it, right? Now, the Lions sucked forever. But you just need to find that mix of general manager, coach, quarterback that changes all your things. And Holmes is a great GM in Detroit. He's drafted unbelievably. The trade that they made to send Stafford to the Rams, you talk about one of the biggest win-win trades ever. Rams have gotten a Super Bowl out of it. Stafford's been there. And the Lions have completely rebuilt themselves to where they are now a franchise that has a chance to win a Super Bowl these last couple of years because they have a coach, they have a general manager, and they have a competent quarterback. And that changes everything. The Bills sucked for 20 years, Paul. 20 years. Awful. What happened to the Bills? They got Josh Allen. It changes everything for you.
Still can't get over the hump yet.
That's a whole nother story. But sometimes, Paulie, all it takes is you get that one guy in your building who can play that position, and it can change things. And that's what I think maybe the Giant fans are going to hang their hat on now here, having Dart and seeing how Dart can play. They think that this is a guy that's going to be able to do it. Now, it's a little bit of a different situation because the Giants are bad again this year, but now you see some future hope having Dart as a quarterback, but you have a general manager and a coach that's now been there for 4 seasons that I personally thought the only way they were going to survive is if they showed they could get a quarterback. Now they maybe have, but they're losing still. What do you do? Because you never know. It seems like Dart mixes well with Dable, and you never know what you do if you pull the plug on Dable and you bring somebody new in. What if he doesn't mesh well with Dart?
Who cares about that right now?
Sometimes the quarterback's the quarterback, though.
2-7, 3 years in a row. Look, if you're a Giants fan right now, and even me personally, and it was just devastating to see Cam go down last week as well too, the week before, I should say.
Right.
Losing him.
Scadaboo. I mean, that's the thing. You talk about putting energy into the franchise.
So
those guys.
Yeah, and on that note, I mean, that is at least, as a Giant fan watching the rest of this season, regardless of how the record goes, you're watching Jackson Dart. He's exciting. You can see it. He's, I'll give Dable the credit. He's run with him here, and you can see it. I mean, he's obviously his receivers core isn't that great.
Right.
He's just lost his best running back. But even Scadaboo, too, an exciting guy to watch. You could see that these two guys are going to make an impact on this franchise. They already have. So as a Giant fan, you're going to tune in every week to at least to see the progress. You can see the future. You can see what's going on. I mean, the Giants season could have been flipped over right now. They could have 5 or 6 wins.
They could,
be better in the division right now. But they've beat themselves most of the time here as far as this season's going on. So comparing the two franchises as far as the Jets, I don't know if the Jets really have much to really watch for now. You got some picks. That's great. What do you see? How Glenn? You're going to be looking for any small little bit. If you're a Jet fan watching every week, what are you looking to see improve? But at least on the Giants side, at least you've got
well, you got something to watch every week.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is what you're trying to. You got something every week, even though this season's going to probably end up 5-12 or 6-11 or whatever. However, it's going to end, Paulie. If you're a Giant fan, you can go to the couch or come to Borrelli's every Sunday and watch the Giants and have yourself excited about watching Jackson Dart. And that's the thing that gets you going to continue to go to the games, watch the games. Whereas the Jets, like you say, it's a completely different situation because yes, now you make moves like this yesterday and that maybe gives you a little bit of something down the road, but that's if this guy even knows what he's doing, who's going to be making the picks. That's if and I don't have confidence in the coach so far. I know it's only 8 games, but I don't have confidence in the coach right now. 1-7 start. Like, they're playing the Browns at home this Sunday, Paulie. They're playing the Browns. The Browns stink. What kind of effort are you getting out of the Jets on Sunday off a bye? That's off of trading let's not say 2 of their best. Their 2 best defensive players.
Well, that's going to be there's a lot of coaching challenges for Glenn there, not only just to keep the team going forward, keep them in a positive attitude to try and be productive, to give the fans something. I mean, basically, it's really not going anywhere as far as the rest of the season's concerned. So they got to root for the little things. On the other side with the Giants, you have this talk now about Dable and, defensive coordinator here.
Bowen.
Yeah, Bowen. His name just escaped me for a second.
He stinks too.
So, that's just that little argument. What you said before about Dabo and Dart, quarterback, and he's doing this and doing that. If you push Dart aside,
right,
and as far as I'm concerned, the kid's got it. He's fine.
Right, but you got to also keep him.
But my frustration as a Giant fan, I just think the coaching has been horrible. Decision making, and it goes hand in hand with
a team of.
Yeah, I mean,
that's everybody then. General manager and the coach. You want to completely, and then does it make it a more attractive job because there's a young quarterback sitting there. Suddenly, there's guys around the league who are these alleged next offensive gurus, kind of like how Ben Johnson just went from the Lions to the Bears to help Caleb, and he's made Caleb Williams better this year, I feel. There's going to be the next great offensive guru who's going to get their first head coaching shot, and they can go, now I want to work with that kid. Or maybe there's a Lane Kiffin who wants to jump to the NFL, and there's a guy he already had at Ole Miss sitting there with the Giants. There's lots of things.
You're focusing on one player. I mean,
because that's the player that matters the most.
I know, but Jackson Dart is fine. Yeah, like, you're lucky. You got him. He's good. He's proven himself. He can run an offense. And if he has some better receivers and offensive line improves and everything else, and he doesn't have to run out of the pocket
guys
so much.
Who don't drop the ball when it's put right in their hands, like Slayton on Sunday.
So
right in his hands.
So if you're talking about, I'm talking about the big picture as far as the Giants as a whole, the rest of the rest of the teams, special teams, back both sides of the ball. And as far as I'm concerned, if you bring in a new guy, you're going to be working on this anyway. Dable's had 3 shots here, 3 years, 2-7. The thing is all right. Maybe he didn't have Dart those 2 years, but he's got him now. What are fans supposed to do? Our first thing is to, you got to get rid of him because we just want to win.
Right.
Show me the patient side of the New York Giants fan right now as far as Daboll's concerned with a guy like Dart? Give me the positive aspect of this to keep him, deal with this, and hopefully Daboll gets it figured out. And you're going to have to probably wait at least 1 or 2 more years with Daboll anyway. So we're talking 5-year commitment. Are we all up for that? Or is there somebody that's going to come in here and clean up the whole mess?
I would lean more to the side that I would try somebody else, because here's where it seems like a bigger picture problem. There seems to be some disconnect in the locker room, the defensive players. You've had all this stuff with Dexter Lawrence and Carl Banks the last couple weeks.
Banks has been
you've had all, their secondary is just, I know they've gotten some injuries, but they've been brutal. You had this other thing with Scadab, who liked the tweet about somebody's killing Slayton about dropping that ball. Like, there's a lot of things that doesn't happen in other locker rooms. You know what I mean? And that's part of why is Daboll focusing so much on making sure Dart is so good that it keeps him his job, that the other parts of being a head coach you're losing those parts.
Yeah, I think that's right.
And that's kind of what you got to look at sometimes and go, all right, well, that's it. That's, maybe it is time. But I wouldn't let this general manager hire another coach. I think that I would go, same thing I was saying before, that I would clean it all out, and I would let somebody else come in and say, look at this building block that I'm starting with. I'm starting with this, and I can now branch out from there and build everything else around it. This is a very attractive spot for either someone who has proven to have done it before in the past, or whoever is the absolute hottest guy that is going to be getting the jump. Where that's what I would do. I would say goodbye to everybody.
All right. Well, in that vein, if you bring in the other top teams in the area,
right,
as far as changing things around, New York Islanders are the only ones who've done that recently.
Well,
but no, I'm saying, like, obviously the head coaching job with the Knicks has changed. But as far as the upper management, that's kind of stayed the same. Mara and the Giants.
Correct.
You got Steinbrenner with the Yanks. Boone has been coach forever.
The Yankees have changed anything in a quarter.
Well, there seems to be what I'm trying to get at is that as far as the upper management, ownership, there's just, it doesn't matter. Like it just doesn't seem to be too much of a change. There seems to be, let's just stay in control of this. The fans are going to come one way or the other, whether they lose or whether they win or not. There just seems to be this acceptable.
I think a lot of, now you're making a point that's a Yankee thing for me. I feel like that the Yankees have been put on this cruise control for so long by Hal Steinbrenner that he doesn't care. He doesn't mind just having a couple playoff games and selling his $22 Heinekens.
And you're going to say Dolan's not the same way?
But Dolan, this is the one thing I'll say about Dolan. He has, in the past 10 to 15 years, gotten completely out of the way and let his people run his teams. And for a long now, this started with the Rangers when he let Sather run him, and he just completely went away after that and the Rangers got better. And now he's let the Knicks do that as well. And I think that is the difference. Dolan finally, it took him forever, but he finally said, all right, I'm not going to be as involved in what's going on. And I think that's why the Knicks are now where they are. And they're one of the teams that maybe has a chance to go to the NBA
but
Finals
still,
in the
again,
obviously
the Yankees are always in it. The Knicks have kind of been in it the last few years, but
somebody's got to crack the egg here at some point.
Well,
there's no doubt about that. But there's been
New
improvement.
York sports as a whole for years now. It's just been horrible.
Since the Giants won, obviously, and now you're talking 12.
And no disrespect to the Liberty and
I've heard,
New York City
I know that
Club,
the NYCFC and the Liberty have won. Okay, great. I'm very happy for them. We're talking
the
about
top 4.
We're talking about the 4 major sports in North America. That's just what we are talking about. Obviously, the Liberty have won. Congratulations. And the soccer team has won. One of the more talk about dopey playoff setups, the MLS. I can't figure out what they're doing sometimes.
I don't watch it.
They got a billion teams now, and the way they do their playoffs is crazy. But we're just talking obviously about NFL, MLB, NHL, NBA. That's what we're saying here. So before everybody gets upset about that, you're right, Paul. Make sure you
it's crazy.
Throw that in there.
It's crazy to see the Garden filled up on a weeknight. It's packed. It's crazy to see.
Yeah.
Now I know a lot of Niners fans in the building last week, the Giants game.
Yep.
So there's a little bit of a break there, I guess, and more power to Giants and Jets fans to sell their tickets to the locals coming in.
Yeah.
The out-of-towners, I should say, coming in. But there's, it's business as usual.
Right.
As far as the New York sports teams here. And we come back. Look, I mean, the Yankees, at least, we could go on about the Yankees.
We'll get to them.
But at least they're kind of.
I got major problems with the way they're run.
Yeah, but it's
major problems.
But a lot of winning seasons.
Sure. But they're the Yankees.
So this is the thing. We get some winning seasons around here, but we're not getting over the hump. We're not getting in championships.
Right. And it has to. Someone's got to. Who's going to be the team that finally breaks through that? As I said, crack the egg. Who's going to be the team that finally does that? I'm not sure who is the closest for that. I think that most people would say it's the Yankees just because every year they're in and every year they quote unquote spend money. But I think the Knicks are close. I mean, but the West is so. I don't think the Knicks would beat Oklahoma City or Denver or any these teams if they got to the NBA Finals. I'm not sure they would win it, but they're a much more competitive team. I mean, Paul and the Knicks were, there's 15 to 20. Knicks were awful.
Yeah, from
the time after those Van Gundy, Houston, Sprewell, Ewing teams. I mean, the Knicks were pathetic. I mean, they had one really good year when Melo was here, and other than that, they were really bad. So them now being competitive year after year, it obviously changes some things up. But I don't know who's the closest right now.
I got a question for you, and I got a question for the fans too. And let's just talk Islanders hockey here real quick.
Okay.
Just as an example.
Are they the closest?
No. No, I want to ask you a question.
They're the best young player in town.
The Islanders, I want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
Would you take, they won 4 cups in a row.
Sure.
Went to 5 finals in a row. Could have went to 6 for the 79 Rangers, which they were supposed to win.
Yes.
So you have 4 Stanley Cups. You have the dynasty.
Right.
As a fan, would you prefer those championships spread out over decades? Or would you take the 4 and have the 40+ years without a championship?
Considering you're asking me, someone who, yes, was alive for those 4 championships, but was 1, 2, 3, and 4 years old for those championships. And really, since then, you have 93. 01 was a promising year. And then, of course, you had these couple years when Barry Trotz.
But if somebody gave you a choice and said, "Look, you can have 4 in a row," as a fan for the whole history of your,
I've actually lived this too, because being a Yankee fan, had the 4. We had the 4 and 5 years. You had the 3 in a row, the 4 and 5 years in the late 90s. Yeah. So I know what that feels like to win so much, and it's awesome. And then I've also had the other side of the spectrum where in my adult life, I've never seen the Islanders win. I've never seen the Buffalo Bills win. No Buffalo Bill fans ever seen them win. So, I mean, there's been, win the whole thing. So I've kind of seen both sides of it. And I would like once, like every 10 years, like to just chip, throw me somebody. I don't care which one of them it is. Throw me one of them every 8 to 10 years.
Yeah. So, almost like if you look at the Red Sox, like right?
That,
every few years if you're a Red Sox fan. But before that, they hadn't won anything.
They went from never winning to all of a sudden.
So if you're a fan out there and that's your choice, would you like a dynasty in one shot and then there's no winning at all?
It's a great question.
On the front and the back end, or
it's a great question.
Would you like it spread out?
Let us know in the chat. And I'll read some of them later if you put them up there. Let us know if you would rather win 4 in a row and then never win again the rest of your life, or you get one every 8 to 10 years for your whole entire life. It's a good way to kind of throw it through there. It's a good way, Paulie. All right. Carver and Cuthbert, Go Sports Radio here at Borrelli's Tap Room in Long Beach, of course, on a Wednesday, first Wednesday in November. We'll be here every Wednesday and Thursday, getting you going. We got a good crowd tuning in on the stream, which is great to see. We'll read some of the comments later on before we get out of here. But we are at Borrelli's, Paulie. So I need to know. You got to tell me a couple of things that are going on at Borrelli's soon. I want to be there.
Few things. Tell me. Lots of things going on here at Borrelli's. And once again, we are broadcasting live our shows here from Borrelli's in Long Beach on Beach Street. Come on down. In addition to this great new live sports podcast that we're hosting here on Wednesdays and Thursdays, they do live music, comedy, and even some Italian food classes and everything else.
Well, they keep putting all these pictures on Instagram of this pasta. So I'm going to have to talk to Mike And one of these days, I gotta try the pasta because it looks unbelievable. All the pictures on Instagram that I get of the pasta.
All right, so here's a quick rundown what's going on. Every Thursday night, obviously Thursday football, come on down. Friday nights got live music and just great drink specials, happy hour, all that stuff. This Saturday, they have live music on November 8th with Sean Jacoby at 7 p.m. And then at 10 o'clock, we've got the Lavish Life coming in here. Big night on Saturday here, live music. Saturday, during the day, obviously, all the college football is going on here on the big TVs.
Yes.
So definitely come down here. Check out the website, Borrelli'sTapRoom.com, for all the specials. Sunday NFL, same thing. It's just a great place to watch a game here. TVs and all the specials and the great beer choices as well, too. Next Tuesday night, like I said, we get into some more live music. It's Billy Joel theme night here. There's a $21 dinner special and half off of all wine bottles. That starts at 7 o'clock. Billy Joel theme night, live performance there. Next Friday, the 14th, the Dirty Rockers are coming in here, and
I heard those guys slam. Dirty Rockers.
Yeah,
slam.
They're a fun band. It's a tribute to Stick Figure and 311 and Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Nice.
Dirty Heads, Real Big Fish, Sugar Ray,
Sell out
Sublime
with me too.
and some good
Sell
stuff.
out.
So
Yeah, I like that one.
coming in, that's a free show, and that starts at 9 o'clock on the 14th. Next Wednesday, November 19th, like I said, Borrelli's does a lot of comedy here, and Colin Quinn is coming in on Wednesday night. And I will be here with the wife, because Colin is one of our favorite comedians. So come down. I believe that's an 8 o'clock show, or doors open at 7. And Colin Quinn's coming in. Great comedian, great stuff there. Tuesday, December 2nd, Des Bishop's coming in, comedian as well, too. So that's a great night. And then on Wednesday, December 10th, there's a pasta making class going on here at Borrelli's, too. So always great stuff.
Loaded up
at
the tap room.
That's just a brief list of all the great stuff going on here at Borrelli's Tap Room. So check that out.
That's awesome.
Good stuff.
Awesome. Great to see. Great to hear. And I'm glad that we're here. I'm excited. Might even grab myself Surfside before I get out of here, something like that. So I'm gonna Surfside and a pizza before I leave. We're gonna try to make sure that I can effort that at least either Wednesday or Thursday when I'm here. I'm gonna try to do it. I try to get like a little
day drinking,
a little out the door. Why not? Why not? No, surfs up, baby. Just one. Surfs up going for us there.
Yeah, I'll give you a lift home.
So there you go. With that, we'll talk a little bit more about everything that's going on in a bit. All right. Other things, we talked about the Jets and the Giants, talked about the local stuff. NFL in general here, as we get now, we're turning now that there's 18 weeks, Paulie.
Yeah.
In the regular season, you now have that definitive halfway point. Not for every team, because some teams have these stupid buys in week 4. Some of them have them in week 13, but we hit through 9 weeks to go. And it moves, and people hate when I say this. I sound like a broken record, whether you watch me in the 5 o'clock show on Bet River, wherever it is. Like, it's amazing how fast it goes, Paulie. When you get through, you get so pumped up throughout the summer. Oh, man, and football's almost back. I mean, here we go. It's almost back. And then before you know it, it's gone. And it sucks. So here we go, halfway mark. You mentioned the Bills before beating the Chiefs. And what was it, the most watched? I think it was 30
million, man.
30 million people watched the game or something like that. Then that's the NFL for you, and that's Allen Mahomes, and that's all of those things.
Which kind of swings back to what we were talking about before, what I was bringing up. Like I said, even with all the, obviously the Chiefs and the Bills are headliners.
Yes.
Obviously.
Yes.
But it is absolutely simply amazing. I mean, that's not 30 million Bills and Chiefs fans watching that game.
No.
That's
an NFL.
That's just an NFL fan. Everybody's watching.
But they have now, the NFL has now built a machine with that game to where that game is now always, notice Bills and Chiefs never on Monday Night Football. It's never on it. They have built that as a CBS 425 Sunday. And there's not a lot of, there was only 2 other games, and they were both buried 405 Fox games that nobody, was really that interested in. Jacksonville and the Raiders, nobody the whole country got that game on CBS, and for good reason, because it's box office.
And that's on Paramount, which is you have to download the app. So the whole streaming argument a couple of years ago, everybody said they're canceling this, and it's a bit of a fever pitch now. Obviously, it's the ESPN, YouTube stuff that's been going on, but all that stuff about people going, oh, I'm not doing this, I'm not paying for this, I'm not paying for that, and it was a big thing about Apple TV as well too, right. And Amazon. Everybody's watching.
Sure,
everybody's streaming.
Now it's not right what they do. But because they're the NFL, they can do whatever they want.
Care about your feelings?
They don't. See, what always bothered me, and this will get me off on a tangent here now. But
let's
that's
go.
Okay,
We're here to have tangents, Mike.
But what bothers me the most is the NFL makes me pay that, and I think it's $425 or $450 for the Sunday ticket, right? And you get the Sunday ticket, and it gets you every Sunday NFL game. I should get every game. If I'm giving you $400+ for the Sunday, I should get them all. I don't care if the game's on Amazon. I don't care if the game's on ESPN. I don't care if the game's on NFL Network. I don't care. I'm giving you almost $500 for a season. Give me every game. Okay, that's what that really bothers me about the things that they do, because, and people do this every year at the beginning of the season. You can go find the tweets, of some of these NFL guys. When you add it all up, Sunday ticket, Amazon Prime, ESPN Plus. Who else got it now? Who else has games? Peacock, I guess, has a game on like a playoff game, and they had like you add up everywhere where you got to watch a game. I mean, all these streaming services, Paulie, it's costing you like $700 or $800 to watch the NFL this year. If you remember in the old days, it was CBS, Fox, or NBC and CBS before Fox came in, and you got pretty much ABC for Monday Night Football, and ESPN had a Sunday night game, but those days are so long gone now, and you need a billion places to watch the game. It's frustrating if you're a fan.
And there's plus and negative sides to that as a fan, because as a fan you can customize what you watch, because not all of us wants to watch every game every week or every team, but but either way you're paying no matter what. If you noticed. If you noticed, the Yes Network and MSG Sports last year combined for Gotham, and I don't know about you Rangers and Yankee fans out there like me, what I would do is, as soon as the Rangers season was over, I would cancel my MSG Network subscription, and then I would wait until spring training for the Yankees and turn that on. And there's no doubt they saw that, because the numbers was dropping it. A couple of months.
Let's go together. Let's put this together.
So what do they do?
Because now
they put them together.
Now you're covered.
Islanders, everything.
It actually covers you the entire year, because the Islanders and the Rangers and the Devils don't end until April if they don't make the playoffs.
But I think what used to be $30 at a time.
Sure.
Now it's 60, whatever.
Whatever it is. But then the Yankees take you to September, and then what do you know? It's October, and the hockey's back, and the basketball. And so they've now got it to where 12 months a year you need their product. If you don't have cable, if you're a cord cutter, if you're any of those things, and that's the situation that you're in. So as far as
choice there, they took choice away.
They took choice away, which is what they that's what they do. So that's the world we live in now. Although I got to tell you, I feel like they've gotten so greedy, and maybe I'm wrong. I feel like they've gotten so greedy that there actually is like a little door opening for cable to make a comeback. Like I feel like there's it's there, because the pigs at the trough have gotten so bad that I feel like that they could come, but maybe not. I bet probably not.
Well, the difference too nowadays, Mike, not everybody's sitting around the couch watching the game.
Right. It's all mobile.
We're all on mobile. We're all on iPads.
We're all
it's all over the place. And then the other thing too is it's all tied in, with the media. As when we were kids and we were younger, we didn't have all this stuff as far as, different platforms to watch movies and shows and everything else. And then you have to buy packages. And ESPN is now, because now you talk about everybody owning the same networks as far as Disney's concerned with ESPN. So if you want your sports, you got to get a package to watch this and watch that. So it's not, I got to tell you, I've tried to be thorough with trimming what I watch. I mean, what I subscribe to and what I don't.
Right. And
I'm telling you right now, if I probably went and looked at everything that I'm paying for right now, I'd probably have a heart attack.
Yeah, I would too. I know what it is. And it's bad.
That sucks.
It's bad.
That sucks.
I need it all, and I got to watch it all. And it's ridiculous. It's just completely wild that there's a couple that I'm taking a stand on, that I'm going to start.
And my son's an Islander fan, right? So I can't even cut the Rangers. See, I'm done with the Rangers. So I can't even
You're never going to be done with the Rangers.
I can't stop watching the Rangers.
You're
because
never going to be done
I
with the
need
Rangers.
to have Gotham Sports for the Islanders.
And the Yankees.
Yeah, but the Yankees aren't playing right now.
You could cut them out. You could cancel the Gotham.
They got me, Mike.
They've got you.
What am I going to do?
This is what they do. But either way, back to my original, where I was originally going. Bills beat the Chiefs on Sunday.
Lots of people.
You had a lot of big upsets this past week. This is why the NFL is so crazy. You have weeks where I sat around pulling, I do a lot of shows with gambling. I do Bet Rivers. And I sat around Thursday and Friday. That's what we're going. Detroit's going to smash Minnesota on Sunday. Smash job. I was doing the whole thing. Blah, blah, blah. Minnesota beats them outright. I mean, the Panthers going into Green Bay to play the Packers and Lambeau. Come on, they got no shot, Paulie. Look how good the Packers played Sunday night against the Steelers. They're on. Blah, blah, blah. What happened, Paulie? Panthers beat the Packers in Green Bay.
But hasn't that kind of been the way the Leafs been going?
Yes, and it's the way they want it.
Yeah,
they want it.
You look up and down.
They want parity, and they get it. All right, they found their way.
Are horrible or the same,
but they're all, like you say, they're all in that mix. There's only a couple really dreadful teams: the Jets, New Orleans, Miami. There's a couple really dreadful teams, but 70% of the league is in that middle ground right now, that means
that's why I've always called it.
But that also means
league.
That 80% to 90% of the fans, as we get into Thanksgiving and you get into December and I told you it's 18 weeks long now. It's a billion years long. That allows everyone to still be, I'm still in it. You say 7 playoff teams now?
And let's have a game in London. Let's have a game in Spain. Let's have a game in Germany.
I hate the games.
You don't like watching football at 8:00 in the morning?
I don't mind that aspect of it, actually. I don't mind the 9:30 game. I mind the quality of the play because it's not the same. And we've had enough of this now for the last few years. And I've watched all these games, bet on these games. I understand what's going on with them. And you send 2 teams, they're sending the Colts and the Falcons to Berlin this Sunday morning to play. This is not in their normal routine. This is not something they normally do. Next week, they're sending Miami and Washington to Madrid to play. This is not a normal thing. Even when these teams go to London, it's not the same. And what do you get when you get these? Paulie, go look at the games that have been played in London this year. In fact, you don't even have to. I'll tell you. Minnesota and Cleveland. It was a sloppy, ugly game that everybody said, it was a good finish. So the game sucked. The Denver Jet game was in London. God-awful game. Jacksonville played the Rams over there. I mean, the Rams beat them over the head with a hammer. I mean, the game was over. They played the Pittsburgh game in Dublin against Minnesota. It wasn't a great game. The games aren't good. The quality isn't good, and they're shoving it down their throat because it's coming, Paulie, and it's going to happen. At some point in the next 10 to 15 years, they're putting a team in London. They're going to do it. Now they're working this out. Like they send Jacksonville there for 2 weeks in a row. This year they sent Minnesota there for 2 weeks.
Why not put a team in Hawaii or Alaska?
But what I'm saying, they're going to do this, and they're going to figure out a way that 2 or 3 teams are going to go over there for 2 or 3 weeks in a row. They're going to send them over here for 2 or 3 weeks in a row to play road games. They are going to figure out a way to have a team in London. It's going to happen.
NFL's going to have a baseball season where they go in and play 3 or 4 games.
I'm telling you, they're gonna have a team there eventually, and then they have all these playing in Berlin and Madrid the next 2 weeks.
Well, here's one thing. It's one thing to do it. What about the time of the season, right? Here we are, like I said, 8 games in, 8, 9 games, almost 9 games in. And that time, do you think that's unfair as well to the organizations to send them at this point in the season? I mean, if you got all these European games out in the first couple of weeks, if the games are bad anyway, if it's the first couple of weeks, not a big deal.
Yeah.
Do you? I haven't looked, but are there more European games after the?
Well, they always do the London ones, which split. They play a couple games at Tottenham Stadium. They play 1 game at Wembley now. They usually do those all in October. I don't know if that coincides with international break in the soccer. I don't know for and all those things, but it seems like the London games are always at that time of the year. They've now the last few years put this Germany game. This is the first time they're in Berlin. I think they were in Dortmund last year. They were someone else. The Giants played Carolina there. I forget, maybe Munich. I forget where they were, but those games have been in early November. Now they're adding this Madrid game as well. So
the games are selling out though, so they're making money. So there's a reason behind everything.
Of course there is. I wouldn't. I think it sucks to lose a home game. I think home games are so important. In the NFL, unless you're a team like Jacksonville,
are they
anymore? Why they send
with how bad these records
Well, that's true. Look, you make a great point. I don't believe, and I have felt this in all the sports, not just the NFL. the idea of home field being some huge advantage anymore, I think it's gone. And you can branch this out to everything. Are you know, an NHL team goes and plays a game 7 on the road anymore.
Look at the Dodgers have done the last 2 seasons.
The Dodgers have just won game 6 and 7 in Toronto in the World Series.
Toronto beat us.
You know, I don't think it matters. There's still a few places throughout the country in all 4 sports where it matters. Yes, I think that you could still find a couple of spots where there is a legitimate home field advantage. But for the most part, Paulie, 95% of the time, I don't think it matters anymore.
No,
I don't think it matters. I don't think these guys care. I don't think they mind going into an opposing building. Remember back in the day, I mean, here we go again. Back in the day, it's like, oh, you got to go into Pittsburgh and play the Steelers, you know, and all, like, it's like, or
Green Bay.
Like, it's, oh man, you know, you got to play the Bruins in Boston. You know, that's a tough. You go to play the Flyers in Philadelphia, you're in a lot of trouble here. Boy, those days are over. It's just those
definitely over at the Garden for visiting teams.
At the Garden,
as far as the Rangers are concerned.
5-1 at home this year, right? 5-1 at the Garden.
Poor guy who works the goal machine, man. He's been waiting to press the button and he can't.
All right, so tomorrow we're gonna do more NFL. We're gonna talk about all the games this week and who's in the spot. But I have so many other things I have to get to with you in our first show today.
Yes,
and you mentioned Toronto, and you mentioned the Dodgers. And I know MLB's over now, and we're starting to get into all the hot stove stuff. You got all these guys who are opting out of their deals. Bregman opting out of his Red Sox deal. There's all these things going on. But I feel like we have to spend a couple minutes about how crazy that
we got to talk about baseball, was. Man. Baseball. I love baseball. We got to talk about baseball.
I think a lot of times people get caught in the moment of this is the greatest ever. Like, this is the greatest thing that ever happened. This is the greatest thing I ever watched. This is the greatest game I ever watched. This is the greatest thing I've ever seen. This is and there was a lot of that Saturday night with Game 7, Dodgers and Blue Jays.
Oh, and I like this. We can break this down.
And I'm going to tell you, I sat and watching the game and I was thinking about it with all the twists and turns and all the things that happened and how you talk about victory being just snatched in the jaws of defeat and all, you know, a guy, an absolute stiff, Miguel Rojas hitting a homer to tie the game. And the inch of Smith's cleat with IKF coming and touching home plate and all of the things that happen. And you can even build it out to the entire series. They played an 18-inning game. There was so many things in that series.
Yes.
People, of course, immediately, Paulie, say, it's the greatest World Series I've ever seen. It's the greatest World Series I've ever seen. And normally, Paulie, I'm a guy that does, like, let's let it breathe a little bit. Let's let it calm down. I sat and thought about it for a little while. It actually might be true in my lifetime, at least. You know, listen, I wasn't around for Yankees, Pirates, Bill Mazeroski in 1960. You know, I wasn't around for that stuff. And I don't want to get in. I'm talking about things I've seen with my own eyes. There was only 2 World Series that I was kind of like, you know, the best World Series I ever watched. And I think Cubs, then Indians, Cubs, Cleveland, when the Cubs broke that law in 2016, because that was wild.
Mm-hmm.
You got Davis on Cleveland hitting the homer off Chapman in the Game 7 at the, and then they went to rain delays, and then the Cubs break this curse of 100 years, and that one was kind of in my mind. Yankees Diamondbacks 0-1 is always in my mind, even though most of the games really weren't good in the series. It was the moments. It was the Yankees hitting the 3 homers. You know, the comebacks in the Bronx in games 3, 4,
so I think
5.
maybe you have to look at this. Take away, we as Yankee fans probably have to take away the Yankees series that they've been in.
Right.
Not to take away from the games that were played and how the series made out. But, like,
right.
You know, of course they were the greatest World Series for us because they won.
Right.
That's one side of it. I think if you're a baseball fan and you just love the game, and then if you go throughout the decades, when this first when this was first brought up, the first series that I thought of personally was the Twins Braves.
Another really good one with a scoreless game in the 7th game.
It was just, see, that one stands out.
Now I think that's.
Does it take away from this
now,
series?
I think we talk about. We have 2 different boxes here, right? Was it the greatest Game 7 in World Series history, or the greatest series, 7-game series in World Series? You know, I think there's 2 different things there, because the game you're talking about is up there in terms of Game 7s in the World Series, scoreless. I mean, that was Jack Morris. There's just so much about that game is ridiculous.
Kirby Puck in that series was unbelievable. I mean,
and the Yankee Diamondback Game 7 with Mario, Soriano hitting the homer and Mariano giving up to Louis Gonzalez, the little bleeder, broken bat over Jeter's head, like ending the dynasty. Like that's on a classic Game 7.
So you're for Diamondbacks fan, that is the greatest World Series.
Of course. But I'm taking fandom out of it.
Yes.
I'm saying to take fandom out of it and say, is this the greatest World Series game I ever watched? I think it has some merit that it was. That game was so ridiculous on Saturday night. And then you have Yamamoto coming in after the pitch. I mean, there was so many things, Paulie, that make it such a special game, such a special moment.
I think it's a tough thing to debate because I think all of us have watched baseball at different times. I'll be the first one to say when the Astros were in the World Series, I couldn't have gave a sniff about it. You know what I'm saying? Because I think there's interest there too. Is how you're watching it, or maybe I was watching something because hoping the Astros would lose or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I was kind of locked into this series, and it's funny how this is all coming about. When the Yankees got knocked out, I didn't want to look at a baseball.
Yeah.
Because as a fan of the Yankees, I was done. I was exhausted, especially
enough
after last year's World Series and the fifth inning and that game, in the series last year. And then as a fan watching what the Blue Jays went through, going, we went through that last year with the crazy things happening, At
least they won some games. At least they won some games.
But I got back in and I started watching, the Mariners and the Blue Jays there, and I was definitely checking out the Phillies and the Dodgers.
It's also a great series. Mariners, Blue Jays was a great series.
Yeah, I mean, there was just some great baseball. I think what's going on, what's good for baseball right now is there are so many talented guys, and there are villains, and there are guys to root against, and there's guys to root for. There's the contracts, there's the money.
I think the Dodgers are the biggest. I mean, the Dodgers are the villain now. I mean, if you're not a Dodger fan, you hate the Dodgers.
I don't hate them
because they're looked at as, that spending all the money that they spend and having
with all that money, Mike. Let's be honest, they were damn lucky too. Not only against the Yankees last year, but this year too. Somebody up there. The baseball gods are moving things here in a little bit. Yeah. I mean, if you watch the breakdown of that fifth inning last year and how the momentum was about to shift and to swing, the Yankees beat themselves last year. You could kind of say that the Blue Jays had so many opportunities and it just didn't happen. And then, I mean, it even happened in the series. I think the winning game against the Phillies. Remember the kid on the pitch and he threw the ball to home, and he just had to go to first base. I mean, that's a little bit of luck, but that's baseball, and that's the human decisions that individual players have to make, and the plays that they make. The I mean, that baseball is just. I think right now it's my favorite game, and it's been my favorite game for quite a few years. I'll also say my son, who's now 12. Playing baseball over the last 4 or 5 years, me becoming a little league manager and everything, I've become more of a baseball dad. But I've always loved baseball. Look, I have great memories as a kid playing, throwing baseball cards up against the wall and trading. I love that. I love this, all the old TV shows and I used to have, and I think that's what's a big thing about the NFL too. Younger generations who are older now, but back then when you only had 4 or 5 channels, but you have friends that are, Denver Broncos fans because they saw John Elway, or they're Cowboy fans because they saw Roger Staubach, or, it goes on and on and on.
It's a different game.
But watching baseball the last few years more intently than I have, getting back to this original story about was this the greatest World Series? All I can say is I don't feel that. I think it was an amazing series. I'm glad I watched it. I watched almost every minute of it, and I had so much fun watching it. Because it wasn't my team, and watching the baseball and the storylines and all the amazing things that happened. And as far as the Yankees fan, nobody from our division is allowed to win it except us. So bravo, Dodgers. And as far as champions are concerned, they're way behind us as a Yankee fan too. So that's fine. But they're doing a great. Roberts, I mean,
Well, I think the one thing for Roberts,
he's lucky, man.
This
He's
was
part of that Red Sox team,
yeah,
man.
but this is. I think that this year was huge for him. And look, they've won a bunch of World Series now, but I think there was always this feeling that the Dodgers are so talented and they have so many great players that anyone could be in the dugout and anyone could roll them out there, and it didn't matter. Like that, like Roberts really didn't do much. I think that there was like kind of a feeling of that before this year. I thought, Paulie, he made moves in his playoffs, especially in the World Series, in terms of the Rojas move, putting Rojas in, taking Pages out, getting what he had to get. And look, Yamamoto was just a freak, and he was able to, but some of the moves he made with his pitching,
Yamamoto's no different than say what Randy Johnson did years ago,
and Madison Bumgarner with the Giants, and there's guys that have done that. But I thought this was a big series for Dave Roberts. It was a big win for Dave Roberts because I think it kind of solidified. He made some really smart, keen moves in this series,
but as a manager, and you can get into this with Boney too, as a manager, those players have to perform,
of course,
and individually be successful, and that's what makes the manager look like a genius after it's done. But if Rojas strikes out there, if Pages doesn't catch that ball,
right,
then it's all flipped around. Then believe me, Roberts is getting killed for those moves.
He's getting killed. No question. It changes. The coin flips very quickly. Very quickly. The
managers are given a lineup. They try and make the best decisions. They put them out there. But baseball is a game of performance and a lot of luck as well too. Because the ball, nobody has control over where that ball's going to go.
No, they certainly do not. But it was a World Series for the ages.
Yeah, so
as they love to say.
So I went straight to the Braves and the Twins.
Braves, Twins.
When
91.
you heard that initial discussion, and I know you're saying this in your lifetime, but was there any other series that right away stuck out in your mind? Like,
I was thinking, like in general, as an entire 7 games, and not just the game 7, which I get the Twins and the Braves for that. Like I said, it was 0-1.
And we're forgetting series here. There's no doubt.
Sure. For me, it's 0-1 Yankees, Diamondbacks, and 16 Cubs, Indians. Those were the 2 that stuck out to me from historical perspectives, from the things that happened in them, for the crazy swings and the other thing. There was just so many things in those that's where Dodgers, Jays is kind of, if it's not just ahead of those 2, those are the 2 that I have it kind of in the mix with, at least in my adult life. Of all those things. And like I said, I was 6 years old. Mets Red Sox was probably incredible in '86. Like there were so many twists and turns and how the Mets came back. And I've heard the stories about that. I was only 6 years old. I don't put that in mind because I didn't live it. I didn't want, like I did really anything from.
Well, I was 16.
9, yeah.
And so I was on the street in the car and we were listening to it because the game had we thought it was over, so last went out, and we all pulled over, and then it was great for the Mets at that time.
But I've still and like I said, there's probably some local.
We're forgetting a whole bunch of series. No doubt about
look, there's a few that just don't have the significance. Maybe look, there's a couple series that the Giants won in 10 and 12, but like they played the Tigers. Like there just isn't that something you really remember about some of those. The Cardinals. Texas Rangers was a wild 7-game series where David Freese won the MVP. But like I don't think it holds the same, at least for me, the moments and the memories of those 2 series and this one that just ended. Like of how so many huge, impactful moments that swung series in them, and that's kind of where I kind of look at it.
And not even just because I'm a Yankee fan, but look, this series blew away last year's World Series, no doubt about it.
Well,
no, but I'm just saying as far as the baseball and everything else.
Yeah.
And look, a lot of stars on both sides, and a lot of guys that became stars in this series too as well. And we got, like you said earlier, as a baseball fan, you pretty much got everything.
The year the Nats won a couple years ago, the Nats beat Houston in 7 games, and that was a wild series too. The road team won every game in that series,
and I'll be the first one to say I didn't watch that series.
That's probably a series that doesn't get the same because it's the Nats in Houston, and everybody kind of with Houston is very with some of the stuff that obviously went on with them. Houston, when they beat the Dodgers, that was the trash can year. They beat the Yankees, that was a good series, but everyone always says, oh, but, because it's the Astros, so there's a lot of those, there's those that are mixed in, you probably forget, like you say, a couple, from after those Yankee runs, when the Yankees lost to the Marlins in 2003, there's probably about a 7-year gap there where you're like, but that's you kind of lose a little track of a few of those, but there was some good World Series in there too.
We got bored, man. We were in the World Series all the time.
Yeah,
we got bored.
Yeah, we got bored here in New York. So we did.
We're paying for it now.
We got about a half an hour to go. Of course, at Borrelli's Tap Room in Long Beach. Carver and Cuthbert, Go Sports Radio. We'll take a break, Paulie. To get a little, we'll do the We're Right Back, and then we'll come back and talk a little pucks because stranger danger at the Garden, man. They just
it's more than that.
They can't win at the Garden. I want to hear your thoughts about Sullivan, and we got to talk about. I think you could say maybe the most exciting young player, not just in New York hockey, but maybe Paulie, maybe with Jackson Dart in New York sports, the most exciting.
I don't even know his name.
You will know his name. That's for sure. Go Sports Radio, Carver and Cuthbert from Borrelli's. We'll come back right after this. Yeah, and we're back. Carver and Cuthbert here with you. Go Sports Radio from Borrelli's Tap Room in Long Beach. First Wednesday in November. It's the 6th, right, Paulie? Is it the 6th today?
Today's the 5th.
I lose track. Is it the 5th?
The 5th.
See, this is what I'm talking about right here. See, this is why I wrote 6 on the sheet, because I have no idea what day it is anymore most of the time. I just completely
You're a dad,
out
man.
there.
You're a dad like me.
It's been
It's
like
crazy.
you said, yours are a little bit older now, so you got 8 and 4 for me. So it's like sometimes the days just blend together.
Yes,
you
they
really
do.
Don't know. I knew it was Wednesday, but the actual numerical date for today, Paulie, I was not as sharp on for you. So I'll be all right now. And like you said with the Little League, I had a rough weekend with the Little League stuff too.
I believe you went to the championship though, right?
Made the championship game.
Right.
I coach Olivia's team, obviously. We were great all year, smashed everybody, went 10-1. And then our worst game of the year, Paulie, unfortunately, championship game. We lost 8-7. We just didn't, just the way it goes sometimes. We beat the team three times in the regular season. We smashed them each time. And then we lost to them in the championship game 8-7. So it was a tough weekend at the house. Olivia played great. Pitched 2 innings, 3-run homer to give us a 6-4 lead.
Huh?
She pitches. She had a 3-run homer to give us a 6-4 lead. And she made a great play at home, tagging a runner out. But unfortunately, Paul, you know how it goes. Sometimes you're just not.
Well, that's crazy about
there.
Whether it's kids sports or even professional sports, sometimes, you can have, and we're going to talk about hockey right now.
I know.
It's never more relevant where you can play like crap the whole year. And all you got to do
is get hot in April and May.
Show up in the playoffs.
Get hot. And that's what this team did to us. They played really well, and they made the plays in the field. And sometimes in 7 and 8-year-old softball, that's all you need is you got kids out there that can make some plays. And it was we'll say this, talk about learning, teaching moments, all these things.
That's very important.
Olivia, some of the other kids, I think, walked around all week thinking it's in the bag. It's a done deal. Olivia on Friday night and Saturday morning was giving me I'm not going to care if we lose, type of stuff like that. Sure enough, Paulie, when the game's over and the waterworks start, got her to the side. Do you understand now the difference? Winning and losing? And she said, yeah.
Well, let me ask you this. Is she looking forward to getting back playing again?
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. That's what it's all about there.
She now, I think, learned the value of the difference between winning and look, they're 7, 8 years old. It's about having fun. It's still at this age. But I think she kind of figured out, like, man, we lost the championship game. This sucks.
It's the old adage, right? Sometimes you got to feel the pain.
Got to feel the pain. Even at 8 years old, you got to feel the pain of losing in the championship game.
My son on my team in the spring league, we were the worst team all season.
Oh, and then you got hot.
And I got us. Give the boys all the credit. We got into the championship.
Wow.
And we were up 8-3 in game 1. And then the earlier season team came back and we lost. But hey, we got the kids a trophy. But we were ruled out. So we beat the best team in the league.
We got the runner-up championship trophy. So. We got our runner-up trophy, but it is what it is. All right, Go Sports Radio here on a Wednesday. Carver and Cuthbert from Borrelli's Tap Room in Long Beach. Hockey, buddy. New York hockey. Because, like we said at the top of the show, we used to just do hockey shows.
Are we including the Sabres in this as well as the Devils?
No. Well, the Devils we can. The Devils we can. We can include the Devils.
Big Bills fan? No love for the Sabres, huh?
I feel bad for all of those people as a whole because it's such a great sports town. And they've been tortured their entire lives. Between the Bills, obviously 4 in a row in the early 90s, and then they had 20 years of darkness, and now they're back but just can't get over the hump. The Sabres haven't made the playoffs in over 10 years. It's just you going on 15, whatever it is for the 09 the last time the Sabres made the playoffs. It's been forever, Paulie, for them. And this from me. They are such good sports fans. They love those two teams. It is so much passion for them. And it sucks that the Sabres just can't. Every time you think that there's a glimmer of hope, and they have some decent players, they have not had a goalie in forever since Ryan Miller. It just they have not had a goalie. They've had all kinds of problems. But let's do Rangers and Islanders here.
You got it.
Rangers they've been a great road team this year. They just went on a great road trip, had a couple big wins.
Have to go to overtime to win 2.
But still, wins are wins on the road. You get 2 points on the road, Paulie. That's a great win. What is the deal at home at the Garden with them? Because they can't beat anybody in their building. Blanked again. And not only did they not beat anybody, they don't even score goals at home in these games. Blanked by Carolina. And I understand Carolina is a really good team. So, and you're coming back off a trip and then blah, 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 blah. Sully in there now. I've seen you tweet about Sully's press conferences, and did you think Sully was going to be the answer to turn these guys around at the start of the season? Because it's it's been a mixed bag so far, I guess you could say.
I don't when they fired Turk and when I guess he needed to get fired. I don't know. I sometimes wish that he was still coaching the team. Obviously they're up 2 games against the Lightning that year in the conference finals,
Right.
and Cooper and that team. He got out coached losing that series as far as I'm concerned. The following year,
right?
And that was a damn good team. And I think the Ranger fans jinxed it that year anyway when they chanted Chesty's better. But anyway, that's when it all went downhill. The following year, Drury at the time goes out and he gets Tarasenko and he gets Kane. So he gets the firepower. They put up 10 goals or something in the first 2 games. And then Lindy Ruff out coaches Turk again. They come back and they win that series and they knock him out. And then, Laviolette comes in, inherits a pretty damn good team, and wins the President's Trophy, takes them all away. Same thing in the playoffs. The problem is this the same core guys, and that's Panarin, and that's Shesty, and that's Kreider, and it's Zibanejad, and there was that other guy who they should have never let go, and that was Jacob Trouba.
Mm-hmm.
And those outside of Kreider and Trouba now, who've left and now doing very well in Anaheim. Go figure. Laviolette and Sully, to me, are the same kind of guys as far as I'm concerned.
I agree.
And last year was absolutely painful to not only watch that team, but then to watch Laviolette as somewhere around, I don't know, maybe after the first preseason game last year, Laviolette was done as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he had seen what Turk had gone through, that those core guys just couldn't get over the hump. That seems to be the theme today. Organizations, teams that just can't get, go for and win the whole big thing. And that core's been together a while now. And now they're already talking about Panarin probably getting traded this year. Trouba's gone, Kreider's gone, and now, JT Miller coming in, and it's the same thing. And you got a lot of young kids in here and Lava and so on and so forth, go up and down. They made a couple of signings, but the Rangers, for me, as a fan, and I it blows me away because they're still selling out every night. They bring the fans in, and the place is packed, but it's the same kind of crap. Yeah, there's some signs of life here on the road and everything, but this is primarily a veteran team,
right?
The core of the guys that are playing on this team are the guys that are really not producing. Now, I'm going to sit here. I've been watching baseball, and I haven't really tuned in yet to the NHL season. I've watched some highlights and everything. And what I know is that I've heard that the Rangers are working hard. But I was watching some of the game last night, and this is where I lose it and getting back to Sully and everything.
They weren't working hard.
It's not even that. It's the conversation, and I don't want to swing back to baseball a little bit to use as an analogy or a comparison, but the MSG Network crew guys, I'm not going to name names here, but talking about
names.
They're talking about net presence. There's talk about looks.
Those are buzzwords now.
I mean,
for the hockey announcers is net presence. It's a buzzword.
They're not scoring goals. They're not getting it done. They're just not playing good hockey. They're not playing hockey, and then they're turning around, and even Sully in the press conferences, and we're controlling territory, but you're not winning. You're not scoring goals. You're not getting it done.
Did he say they're controlling territory? Is that something that he threw out there? Controlling territory?
Like, what's his face years ago on the island? As Capuano used to say, battle something.
Battle level.
Level.
High battle level. Battle level was high.
And I'm sitting here, how is a fan base, how am I supposed to sit here and watch and listen to this crap that we're seeing on the ice here? And these are, again, the core of this. Even Lafreniere now, a 6-7 year veteran, I guess now, right? Too.
Yeah.
Shesty. These guys are in their 30s. I mean, they're going to have to flip things around here. I'll give Drury this. Over the last couple of seasons, the guy's gone out and tried to get the pieces to come in here and do it. And like we were talking about as a baseball manager analogy, you put the guys on the ice. If they don't perform and they don't get the job done, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
And there's only so much you can do, whether it's cap related or everything else and contracts and everything. And about, no trade clauses and all this stuff and everything else. But in short, I find the New York Rangers since definitely last season to be absolutely boring, not only as a product on the ice, but as a front office, as a head coach. And it's just, I give the the reporters. I'm sure it's a great gig. You get paid. You get to follow these guys, go to the rinks, be in the games. But those press conferences are just torture. This is the New York Rangers. Let me talk about this. This is the New York Knicks. This is the New York Yankees. This is the New York Giants. This is the New York Jets. It's a whole heaping pile of crap. Okay. So as far as the Rangers are concerned, I mean, I hate to say it, it's as a longtime hockey fan. Well, talk to me in April. I mean, really.
If they're there.
And the Florida Panthers are the best sports franchise as far as I'm concerned. You can talk about the Dodgers a little bit, but the Panthers have gone out and earned this the last 3 years.
Certainly
Three
have.
Straight finals, making
Unheard
great
of.
trade deadlines. Paul
Unheard of
Maurice is a
stuff.
Jedi. I love the guy as a coach. He drives everybody crazy.
They're
gonna probably, they might get that third in a row, and
Well,
that'll be 4 trips to the finals. We'll
look,
see what happens.
You know how I have always operated. I think it's the hardest trophy to win in sports is the Stanley Cup. And I have always been a believer. It's almost impossible to get back to that point. When you win or lose it, it's so hard to get back.
Except that the rest of the teams in the conference are horrible.
I guess so. I mean, if you want to make that as part of the factor, but for them to go 3 years in a row, win 2 of them, and I even give Edmonton credit because I killed Edmonton. For them to get all the way back there after losing the way they did, down 3-0, get into a 7th game, and then come on, it's a 12-month grind to get all the way back to that point.
Man, if you're a Canadian fan, as far as Edmonton last year and Toronto Blue Jays this year, that's pretty brutal.
I now have a new outlook with the Florida Panthers. I doubt them.
No way.
I will not doubt them, and they are going to do the same thing this year that they did last year. They're going to take nights off. They are going to – the regular season is going to be a complete coast job for them, and they don't care if they're first in the Atlantic, third in the Atlantic, first wild card, second. As long as they're in it, Paulie, they're going to step on the ice every night knowing that they can beat everybody.
Now, the Florida Panthers, as an organization where they're located, and, you look at the Tampa Bay Lightning over the last years too, they can kind of get away with that in those markets.
Yeah.
The Toronto Maple Leafs and the Montreal Canadiens can't get away with that. The New York Rangers can't get away with that stuff. As far as coasting.
You have to. I mean, look,
the Rangers are definitely coasting right now.
It's possible that,
but it's so early in the season.
Well, look, it's possible, Paulie, and you maybe not. It's possible that if the Rangers ever went to 3 straight finals and won 2 of them, there maybe would be some relaxed sentiment around town that they could take the regular season off. But you need to do those things in order to get that. You can't just, as far as the Islanders go.
Well, let's talk about the Islanders. They're actually a little more exciting.
The Islanders are more exciting. I don't think they're a playoff team, but I'll tell you this. The ticket's worth the price of admission every night when you go watch them because the games are, it's so different from, and look, the Trotz Islanders getting to the two East finals in a row and all that stuff. It was great. It was a different style of hockey. They got there playing we know how the Islanders want to win. They want to win 2-1 games back in the day. This is Patrick Waugh style now. With Darshan there and Lou being gone. These games are wild. I mean, they're over, talking in the gambling sense here, their games are over every night. I mean, they're last night again, another 4-3 game last night. Every game's back and forth, wild up and down the ice. They're exciting to watch. They're worth the price of going, and they have, without question, first of all, the best hockey player in New York, and I understand Shesterkin and all these other guys.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
This kid is 18 years old.
Yeah, great, and the story
I get he's only played 10 games, 11 games, whatever it is so far. Paulie, I couldn't even possibly imagine that this guy was going to be this good, this fast, at 18 years old. He is. I mean, this isn't coming from here in New York or from guys like me and you on Long Island or anything. I'm talking the big national Canadian talkers in hockey, where they only talk hockey. There's people bringing up, should they put him on the Canadian Olympic team? I mean, holy, that's wild to me to even think about. And I was one of the guys who was like, you got to draft offense with that first pick. You got to take one of these. They need a guy who could put the puck in the net 50 times a year. And I was dead wrong. This guy is, for on and off the ice, Paulie, unbelievable. And already worth weight in gold as the top overall pick in the draft. I love it because he's been like the number 1 star, like 2 or 3 home games already. He gets on the bench with Shannon in the post game. He's just like, I love these guys. He's an 18-year-old kid. I love this place. I love the connection he's building with the fan base. It's great to watch, and it's so great it's something like you talked about with Dart before with the Giants. You can put the TV on or go to an Islander game every night, and you're like, I'm watching this guy. Yeah. I mean, this is unbelievable watching this kid every night.
No, it's great, and it's a real credit to the Canadian Junior Leagues, the USA colleges here, and the USA hockey program itself too. A lot of these young kids coming up very mature and able to step into these lineups. Hey, Shaver's a great story here on Long Island. With Lou leaving and Darsh coming in, who seems like he's going to do great things. I think he's already done good things for the Island. There is a different air about them. There was a shot on the Islander bench after they, I think, tied it or won the other night. I can't remember. But everybody on that Islander bench, and what are we, 7 games in or something like that?
Yeah, 8 or 9.
They had acted like they had won in overtime and
exciting.
And that to me resonates from every guy on that bench. So there's a buy-in there.
Right.
There's something good that's happening. I think it's great for some of the veterans like Lee and Barzell and Pellick and Pulak and all the stuff. This just it's everything kind of come together. And Roy, I guess maybe he doesn't have that guy like Lou over his shoulders right now.
Right. I think he's got a little bit more. He could play it a little more fast and loose.
I mean, it really is going to have to be a full body of work here as far as Roy's concerned and what happens going forward. But
and look, there's still, Paulie, there's still some older pieces on this team that if I'm Darsh and we get into February and get into March, I'm looking to do what they did last year with Brock Nelson. I'm looking to spin JG Pajot. If anybody's willing to take Adam Pellick and Ryan Pulak as guys who have played 1 billion games in the playoffs as defensemen, I'm willing to do it. Like I am willing to. This year for me is having fun watching the team and continue to grab more assets that they did, because it's time to. You now know you have, there's a new era that's going to get ushered in here with Schaefer, and with some of these other younger players that they have, Richie and look, you still have Barzell and Horvat who are going to be around for this. So there's a new era, and some of these guys, the Lees, the Pajots, and I think you get what you can get for them and continue even further accelerate that, making them even better.
There's a lot of good pieces of the puzzle. I think, this is what we got to find out with the Islanders as far as putting the whole package together. I think the older guys are feeding off Schaefer, the fact of his energy, his commitment, everything else, but it's obviously his play on the ice, being a two-way player, all that stuff kind of combining together, which is great. And look, I wouldn't necessarily count them out of the playoffs right now.
No, so like you said, there's not a lot of great teams in the East.
Well, this is what I'm saying. I mean, the NHL has a lot of bad hockey teams. It's been known. It's been watered down for years.
And a lot of teams make the playoffs.
And a lot of guys are going to get injured.
Right.
There's going to be 6 or 7 coaches will be fired. There'll be, there's all going to be all kinds of different crazy things that are going to happen here in the NHL going forward. But it's a great story for the Islanders. There's some fresh blood there. There's some new leadership. There's some new management. And it's good for the Islanders. And as a Ranger fan, I've always said this, and the Devils are playing pretty damn well for Keith,
They are.
I always say that if the Islanders are playing good and the Devils are playing good, it's got to fire up the Rangers. They have to be competitive in there too. I'm a big fan of JT Miller, and I'm hoping he can get these guys over the hump. Drury's going to have to make some changes. He's going to have to make some additions. He's going to have to make some trades, because these guys are not going to do it. If they're struggling now and they can't even win at home, forget about the playoffs. And heart and soul and experience isn't all of it right now. And like I said, you got to use the Florida Panthers as a model. And speaking of the Panthers, as far as Stanley Cup Finals last year in Edmonton, seeing McDavid re-sign with the Oilers and a couple of what's his face in Minnesota.
Kaprizov.
So a lot of big free agents already signed. So there's not going to be any really big free agents except for a guy like Panarin.
Yeah.
So
I trade him now.
What everybody sees right now, that's it. But that's also a sign. A lot of the Ranger fans thought that maybe these guys might come and sign with the Rangers.
Right.
Nobody's interested in coming here, and I think that's also a bad sign for New York Rangers going forward.
Yeah, Rangers right now 5-4-4 or 6-6-2. Excuse me, 14 points, 1 point from the bottom of the conference. Believe it or not, Florida and Washington. 2 teams that won divisions. It's so much hockey left.
Too early.
There's 6 points separating the entire conference.
You said it, man.
So there's a lifetime left. The Devils are 9-4. and they've played very well, particularly at home where they're 5-0 at the Rocks. So the Devils have played some really good hockey so far this year, and I expect that to continue as long as Hughes plays. Now, Hughes has shown the last few years he's a little brittle, he's a little injury prone, but if he's playing, Paulie, he's dynamite too.
Well, I mean, you've seen it the last couple of games. Schaefer's getting run at, so that's going to be the other challenge too. He's a young kid
sticking up for him.
Yeah, the odds have been sticking up for him.
And like you said, keeping him healthy. You know, you want to keep him out there because remember something too, and I forget what it was, and this was a big talking point going into the draft. You know, the kid in junior last year, he only played like 17 games or something like that. Like he was hurt a lot last year. He's already played 10 or whatever it is for the Isles this year. So he's going to play a lot more hockey, Paulie, than he's played the last couple of years. And he's a young 18-year-old kid. He can handle all that stuff. But the physical grind of the NHL, as you get into January and February, now this year they get a 3-week break, you know, in the middle of February for the Olympics and whatnot. But it's a long year, and man, but the kid is super exciting. It's just so much fun to watch him going through. All right, we only got like a couple minutes left here. We're going to be back tomorrow.
Yes, we are.
I have a few things that I'll save over, including the college,
getting loose, buddy,
including the college football, which they put the first college football playoff rankings out last night. Which, by the way, don't mean anything. So we'll talk about that tomorrow.
But it is cool to look at.
It's cool to look at. It's fun to look at. Their shiny little things.
New teams in there.
Some new teams in there, but there's like 5 more of them. And then the last one's the only one that matters, is the one that's at the end. So tomorrow we'll do a little of that, including leading into some of the games this weekend in college. The Knicks do play tonight. I know you're excited. Are you going Knicks Timberwolves at the Garden?
I'm not going, but
it's a good to go to the Garden when
St. John's
wins.
Starting this weekend too, man.
St. John. Well, they started Monday night, and they put a hundo up on Quinnipiac.
But their first game's at the Garden this weekend, right?
Playing Alabama at the Garden on Saturday.
And the Rangers Islanders on Saturday night.
Yes. Ooh. So that's a nice little double at
the
Garden.
Lunch, the Garden on Saturday.
Pack a lunch. That's one of those days back in the day. You go to the, you know, you're on the train 10:30, 11 o'clock, go to St. John's game, St. John's, Bama. You're out of there by like 2:15, 2:30, right across the street. Get lathered up for another 3 or 4 hours. Back in the Garden for Rangers Islanders. Is that at the Garden on Saturday night, Rangers Islanders?
Yeah.
I just see that. Oh, man. Yeah, Saturday, 7 o'clock, Rangers Islanders. They got to flip the court to the ice.
Garden, yeah.
Quick on that. One more time, Paulie. Give me some Borrelli stuff before we get out of here.
Okay, once again, real quick, we are broadcasting all the time from Borrelli's Tap Room here in Long Beach, New York, and that's located at 912 West Beach Street in the great city of Long Beach. Beautiful down here. Thursday night football coming up tomorrow. Friday night live music this Friday. Sean Jacoby's going to be at 7 p.m. and The Lavish Life is live at 10 p.m. Come down. Great music. Got all the college football here on Saturday. Like I said, big TVs, great beer selection here at Borrelli's Tap Room right here. Next Tuesday, Billy Joe theme night coming down, $21 dinner special, half off all wine bottles. Check that out. Good stuff. Starts at 7 o'clock. Next Friday, November 14th, if you like a little dub, ska, reggae, the Dirty Rockers are playing here live. Free show at 9 p.m. Some Sublime, some Dirty Heads, 311, Stick Figure, and more.
Stick Figure.
Yeah. Wednesday, November 19th, Colin Quinn will be live here. Comedian Colin Quinn.
Legend.
From the famous Saturday Night Live days and MTV. Great stuff. Colin's awesome. Great show. Come down. And then I believe is the 7, 8 o'clock start. Tickets are on sale. Again, go to Borrelli's Tap Room for all that information. Tuesday, December 6th, come on down. Comedian Des Bishop is going to be here as well, too. You can get the tickets for that. Wednesday, December 10th, pasta making class right here. Like I said, this is one of the best Italian places down here on the South Shore, let alone Long Beach. Brick oven pizza and lots of great stuff. And the pasta making classes have been selling out. So make sure you get on there and get down here. It's always a great time. So that's what's going on for Borrelli's. We'll talk more about that tomorrow as well.
Great job, Paulie, with all the Borrelli stuff. Listen, we had a lot of watchers on X, a lot of watchers on YouTube today. Good crowd checking in.
Thank you so much, everybody.
We had a
Just
bunch.
Getting started.
We had a bunch also come through with a couple chats. I know that I saw Tiger Man in Utah checking in. Loves the setup. Thank you, Tiger Man. Always great to hear from you. I did see Winnipeg will be back from from Shawnee checked in with Winnipeg will be good this year. So we got a little
Jonathan Taze, baby. I was at the Jets Islanders game beginning of the season. Loved it.
We will be back tomorrow. Go Sports Radio, Carver and Cuthbert, Borrelli's Tap Room in Long Beach, noon East to 1:30 East. Paulie, tremendous job. Thanks again to Borrelli's. We're back tomorrow. GSR. We'll see you then.